What does Ukraine do? Let's learn from our friends in Israel. Let's do a false flag, shall we? Let's do a false flag on a NATO country. The Ukrainian government is in a very difficult position right now because the support from DC has dried up. The Europeans are in no position to support them. They are bankrupt. Their industry is on life support at the moment, if even that. They're flatlining. And when you look at the battlefield, there's nothing to show the White House or the Europeans to justify further spending. The Ukrainians are getting obliterated and surrounded inside of Kupiansk, inside of Pokrovsk, and there is only about, 18% of Donetsk, of the Donbass, total Donbass, Donetsk and Lugansk, that remains under Ukrainian control. Konstantinovka, to a certain extent, and to a greater extent, Slavyansk, the surrounding cities, and as well as Kramatorsk, which is the main hub, of Ukrainian defenses and buildup over the years. So, what does Ukraine do? Let's learn from our friends in Israel. Let's do a false flag, shall we? Let's do a false flag on a NATO country. Now we have the largest false flag attempt by Ukraine in the entire length of this conflict, which was just exposed. The FSB prevented a Ukrainian-British operation to hijack a Russian MiG-31 equipped with a hypersonic Hinkle missile. According to the intelligence agency, the foreign side intended to use this incident as a large-scale provocation against Russia. Ukrainian military intelligence planned to send the hijacked MiG-31 to the NATO base area Constanța, Romania. Russian pilots were promised $3 million for hijacking the MiG-31. The operation also involved Bellingcat. Wow, Bellingcat. Our good friends at Bellingcat. If you don't know Bellingcat, they're just like a media cutout for the CIA and for MI6. You look at every single conflict that Bellingcat comments on, it aligns perfectly with what either the U.S. State Department puts out, the British Foreign Service puts out, the MI6 puts out, the CIA puts out. Same exact verbiage, word for word, and that's because these institutions, these intelligence agencies, and these foreign services or the State Department, they oftentimes cite information from Bellingcat for the statements that they are making because Bellingcat is funded by the U.S. and British intelligence agencies. Their quote-unquote journalists worked for the British and U.S. intelligence agencies and still do. It is a media cutout for the Western intelligence agencies. They're the ones who put out all the fake information about gas attacks in Syria, which have now been uncovered as total frauds and lies. They're the ones who have lied throughout the duration of this Ukraine conflict about what has gone on a day-to-day basis. And now they were exploited in this plot to hijack a MiG-31. They were working with British intelligence. This is absolutely incredible. Every information related to the pilot was reported directly, and contact was kept since mid-2024. They initially offered the pilot $3 million, but he denied. Then they offered the navigator money. He was supposed to kill the pilot using a poisonous gas and then take control of the jet over the Black Sea. Landing as a navigator is difficult, but it's possible. They offered to teach him and promise him the best air control to land the jet once he entered Romania. Every operation and action of our pilots were all structured by the FSB to lure the enemy. Identities of some have been determined. Bellingcat was also involved. It's still unclear if the enemy wanted the Hinkle, or maybe they lied to the pilot so they could shoot him down for an international escalation. So there's two theories here, and we don't know exactly what the story was. We have proof of all these messages. We have, the pilot and the navigator from Russia who went on record to actually discuss this. There's videos of this online. If you just search up MiG Ukraine, MIG Ukraine on Twitter, you can find the videos of them discussing this. In fact, here's both of the videos right here. So you can look at this guy's Twitter account if you want to go through it. Unique Mongolia posted both of the videos. So this is the navigator. This is the pilot. They tried to bribe both of them. Both attempts failed. And we actually have the Telegram messages, which I'm sure Bellingcat is going to come out and claim are fake. And, you know, these are doctored images. But we actually also have photo proof of the cash that was offered to the pilot and to the navigator. So the two main theories here are that, number one, here's the video. Let me show you the video. This is the video of the cash that was going to be provided to the Russian pilot or navigator if they carried out this operation for hijacking the MiG-29 or MiG-31 with the Kinzhal missile on it. They're showing all of Zelensky's cash here. Now, why do they care about this so much? Well, there's two theories. The first theory is that they were going to send this MiG-31 into Romania over a NATO military base, claim that Russia was, provoking some conflict with NATO, and they were going to shoot it down above Romania, provoking the conflict that everyone in Ukraine wants, at least in the Ukrainian leadership wants. The second theory, which is also very intense and interesting, I guess, is they wanted this plane to actually come to a landing inside of Romania, claimed that they had some, failure in the plane. They had to land in Romania. They had to land here somewhere. And what they were going to do was they were going to take that hypersonic Hinkle missile and they were going to try to replicate the technology, because Ukraine, as well as the United States, as well as the United Kingdom, none of these countries have hypersonic missiles. Russia has hypersonic missiles. Iran, I believe, has hypersonic missiles. China has hypersonic missiles. North Korea even has hypersonic missiles. But the United States has not been able to master the art of the metal alloys needed to actually produce hypersonic missiles. So they wanted to get one of these Kinzhal missiles and replicate it. That's the other theory. And I think both are pretty sound theories, I guess. Well, both of these efforts failed. And what ended up happening was the whole operation was exposed. The navigator and the pilot both, were lauded as heroes essentially in Russia because they obviously didn't commit treason, and they exposed this lunacy, this insane effort to either provoke World War III or give the U.S. these hypersonic missiles. And in response to the provocation involving an attempted hijacking of the Russian Aerospace Forces MiG-31, from November 9th to 10th, hypersonic Kinzhal missiles were used to strike the main radio electronic intelligence center of the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. As a result of the strikes, the Starokostiantinov airfield in Ukraine, where F-16s are stationed, was also hit. They really wanted the MiG-31. They really wanted the hypersonic missiles. They only ended up getting the hypersonic missiles, and they were delivered to them like this, not the way they wanted them delivered. They wanted the missiles intact. They didn't get them intact. So, another Ukrainian plot to start World War III, entirely exposed, and salute to those that are trying to stop this from happening. It doesn't matter the country, doesn't matter if you're Russian, Ukrainian, Hungarian, American, British. If you are trying to fight the efforts to start World War III, to kill more Christians, to provoke NATO involvement in this conflict, if you are opposed to those things, if you're opposed to this escalating in any way, shape, or form, I stand with you, and I thank you for your effort. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.